Now, besides constructor functions, the other thing you should be aware of when working with classes is that it's considered a good practice to put them into a separate file. So here we can select this entire class and cut it, and then in the lib folder add a new file, which I'll name gradient_container.dart. And the name is generally up to you, but it should follow this naming pattern: all lowercase, multiple words separated by underscores. Dashes are technically allowed, but will actually not work, and this would be quite unreadable, so underscores it is. And then in this file, you can store your class. And we do this, we split the code across multiple files to keep every file readable and maintainable, so that all these files are relatively lean and don't contain endless amounts of code, but you instead just have one main thing per file, one main function or collection of functions, or one main class per file. Now, of course, with that added to a separate file, we got a bunch of errors in here because all these Flutter-specific types and widgets are now unknown. They are unknown because the import to the Flutter package is only here in the main.dart file. But this must be added to every file where you are using features from that package, which is why you should copy it and add that same import here in the gradient_container.dart file. And with that, all these errors go away. We still have an error in the main.dart file though, because gradient container is unknown here. This is not defined here, because it is now defined in a different file. And Dart does not automatically scan and connect all your files in your project. Instead, you have to explicitly define any connections between files that you want to consider. And you do this with the import keyword. So here in main.dart, besides importing something from the Flutter material.dart file, we also must add another import where we also import from a package, but this package is now our own project. And therefore, after package : we use our project name, in my case, basics. So here I'll use basics. This is basically whichever name you gave your project when you created it with Flutter create. So it might also be first app if you're still working in that project. Here for me, it's basics. And then here, it's the gradient_container.dart file from which I want to import. And you should, of course, again, get some suggestions here, also regarding your project name. You can always open those suggestions with Control-space. And then here, if I import from gradient_container.dart and add my semicolon, gradient container is found again. And hence, if I save everything and reload, it still works. There is no error, because we again have some valid code here, now following common best practices and conventions.